So Tekken Bloodlines came out a few weeks ago now, and it's really average. It's just average. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just pretty mediocre to average at best. Now, call me a pessimist, call me a hater, call me whatever you want. I personally always thought it was going to be kind of mid, but I have reasoning for that. I swear, I wasn't praying on its downfall. I didn't want the anime to be essentially a dud in the world of anime and all the great content, but I really kind of figured that was going to happen, and here's why. Okay. Hopefully I don't have a mob of Tekken fans led by Harada at my doorstep. Okay. We're just gonna say it. I don't think the Tekken story is that great.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that? I'm sorry, man. No, I wasn't thinking about it when I did it.
I know. I'm so look. Just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. When we're talking about stories, specifically in the sub-genre of fighting games, the Tekken story almost comes second to none. I would not be mad at you if you had like Injustice, maybe Mortal Kombat up there. Mortal Kombat has a lot of plot holes and writing inconsistencies though. So if you have Tekken up there as one of, if not the best story in fighting games, I'm not mad at you. I think it's a really good story for a fighting game. But that's about as far as it goes. If you take it out of its little bubble of fighting games and you put it just one step higher into the world of anime like we saw, it's really subpar and average, and there's nothing all that too unique about it. On its very surface level, Tekken is a game about a family that have some unique powers that make them pretty much more powerful than everyone else, and they use those powers to seek revenge. That's not all that unique in the world of writing, much less the world of anime. And then when you really get down to the nitty gritty and you look at these characters, you look at Jin and you look at Kazuya, they're like pretty traditional, like emo anime Chad-esque characters, right? Now, I've never played Tekken 3, which I think is the story that was being adapted in Tekken Bloodlines, but from my understanding, that was a perfect place to start adapting from, especially if you were going to continue adapting the games, because it introduces Jin and he's like the new protagonist. And while Kazuya was like a decent antagonist, it seems like Harada wanted to make him more in the place of an antagonist and someone who's more evil per se, and he wanted to use Jin more as like not a pure good guy, but someone who the audience could actually root for. So I understand that. That being said though, when you really look at Jin and when you watch the anime, he's like not unique in any way whatsoever. He's just like a black-haired, cool, calm, collected kind of emo, has his own struggles that he has to deal with internally, cold, like he's just that. He's the same anime trope you've seen over and over again. And it doesn't help that he has the devil gene and yada yada. And I won't explain that, because if you know what Tekken is and you kind of sort of have an idea of what goes on in the story, you already know what the devil gene is. But if you don't have a wit idea about what Tekken is, the devil gene is just the same thing as like a curse mark or Naruto having the 9 tails. It's just that thing that makes the main character naturally more powerful than any and everyone else. So I'm not going to get into too many details, because again, I don't want to really get bogged down. This video doesn't need to be any longer than what it already is at this point, to be honest with you. But just to clarify some things, Heihachi is like the big main bad guy, and he had a son named Kazuya, and Kazuya has the devil gene, and that scares Heihachi and also probably rubs Heihachi the wrong way, because it means that he can't be the most powerful martial artist in the world. So he throws his son off a cliff. And then Kazuya survives and obviously wants his revenge. So Kazuya comes back in Tekken 2 and throws Heihachi off a cliff. And they both survive that, despite Heihachi kind of just being like an old guy. Also, if you've never seen the cutscene for Kazuya throwing Heihachi off the cliff in Tekken 2, I'm going to do you a favor and show you that right now. 10 out of 10 IGN. So then, while thinking that Heihachi's dead and he's fulfilled his revenge, Kazuya takes over Heihachi's company and makes a bunch of money, but he also gets a girl pregnant and has a kid named Jin, and that's where the main character of Tekken Bloodlines comes in. It is Jin Kazama, the son of Kazuya. So naturally, of course, he inherited this super OP devil gene just like his dad. And so the Tekken Bloodlines story goes as follows. Shrek shows up if he started taking steroids and he kills Jin's mom, and Jin, being a little kid, obviously can't do anything about it, but because he's a delusional anime kid with a dad who's a deadbeat and a mom who just died, he's like, I gotta go on the quest to get more powerful and avenge my fallen mother. And so he seeks out his grandfather, Heihachi. He gets some training. There's a giant tournament, yada yada yada. We get to the end of the show. It's revealed that Heihachi is the one that released roided up THT Shrek, and Jin don't appreciate that. Not one bit. Nope, he don't appreciate that. And so by the end, we see Jin become powerful and fully embrace his devil gene and smacks around the ogre, who has this super weird transformation where he now has like a snake for an arm and he like squeezes people with it. What if he like used his snake arm thing to just eat her right now? Wouldn't that make sense? Why would he just like squeeze her and just let her go? Or does the snake not have fangs? Is it at least not a poisonous snake? You telling me you leveled up, you got a snake arm, and you can't even eat people with your snake arm? You were bound to lose, fam. Trash tier character. Anyway, Jin defeats roided up Shrek, who's transformed and now has a snake for an arm, and then he beats up Heihachi, and then he flies off into the sunset. And that's how the anime ends, because from my understanding, that's how the third game ends. And then obviously there's like 4 more games after that, so that's not where the story concludes. But regardless, why this anime is so average is because I pretty much just explained it all to you in like 4 minutes, right? The intro is just showing Jin's mom getting killed, and then everything in between is just like a padded filler tournament that doesn't really need to be there at all. And then the end bit is like kind of cool, I guess, from like an anime fan fiction perspective, but like it's not super impactful or anything like that. It's just really subpar. It's just like a really average anime story that on the surface, again, has lots of details and things like that. And obviously there was effort put into coming up with these characters, but at the same time is not like super unique in the world of anime. I think the story of Tekken is just really, really cool in terms of like fighting game stories, because for most of fighting games, the story department isn't really all that there. It just doesn't exist in most fighting games, right? And so Tekken putting in an effort to 1, actually have a story, and 2, keeping it going consistently through 7 mainline entries is really impressive, and it's really cool. But I think what Tekken fans, or just a lot of people in general who may have been slightly interested in the story of Tekken, have realized that, I mean, it's not that special. It's not special enough to the point where it even needed an adaptation, in my personal opinion. Yeah, the fights were pretty, and it was dope seeing my man Horang really be out here in an anime, but at the same time, it's just really average. And I think that's the issue, right? Because average don't pay the bills anymore. There are just hundreds and thousands of pieces of media being uploaded literally every single day, being published on Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and Twitch, and there's so much content that you cannot justify watching anything mediocre or average. At least things that are just like so abrasively and offensively bad, you can watch them and laugh at them and then like groan and moan about it on Twitter. But with average things, you can't even do that because you don't really want to talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. It's just average. And I think that's the biggest issue with Tekken Bloodlines, and it was destined to be average because the source material isn't really all that special, at least in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just some guy who talks about stuff on the internet. That being said though, if you're bored and you're a Tekken fan, you like Tekken, yeah, I mean, sure, it's something that you can like chomp out in the day, or you can just like read the wiki about Tekken 3 and be fine. It doesn't really change anything. There's nothing super unique here. And then the animation is like this cross mix between traditional 2D animation, but some of the fights and some of the stuff gets like kind of CGI'd. Like, look at this scene of them running. They're supposed to be running right now, but they don't look like they're running. Like, Jin is being attacked by the big Shrek Ogre monster thing, and they're supposed to be running to his defense. Look how slow they're moving. Why are they moving like that? Like, nigga, who are you about to go help right now moving like that? Oh my god. When it's all said and done, again, Tekken Bloodlines is just really average, and it was destined to be average, unfortunately. I would say I feel bad, but I don't feel bad for Tekken fans, because if you're a Tekken fan and you just wanted an anime adaptation, like, that's a really specific group of people. I don't know how many people within the Tekken fandom are like, man, it would be great if I get a Tekken anime. But if you were one of those people, then you're probably satisfied with this. But for like the average Joe who doesn't care about Tekken and is maybe more so just like an anime fan looking for something to watch, this is nothing. This does nothing for you. There's nothing like cool about this. Nothing at all. The Tekken Bloodlines, whoever the writers were, or the directors or the producers, really should take some notes from like Cyberpunk Edge Runners, because that's how you use an IP from a different genre of entertainment and like blow it up into something massive. But I digress. Either way, average. Tekken Bloodlines, average. Just some nice steamy mid coming out of there. And that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, what are the YouTube things that I usually say? Leave a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Yada yada yada. I don't know. I have videos of this quality or better all the time, so subscribe so you don't miss them and all that jazz. Also, I have no idea why that Gohan video just got like 1,000 views in like 3 days. That was really weird. Anyway though, I am leaving.